Their mind is impacted in the same way that yours is, and I'm going to explain. And your identity is the key to your SP shifting, not the 3D. You're in charge. Hey guys, welcome to another video. If you're new here, I'm Alexa. I'm a manifestation coach. I make tons of SP content, so you want to stay tuned. Today's video is all about how every time you affirm and why the effort you're putting in is directly impacting and reflecting in your SP's behavior, their treatment of you, all across the board, anything regarding your relationship with your SP. So you want to stay tuned to hear all of that. I always break my content down into multiple sections so you guys really understand every element that impacts the topic I'm talking about. And today, that is your specific person, the relationship as you're manifesting them. And yes, some of the things and the hurdles that you may be dealing with and can relate to. I've also recently had multiple clients tell me success stories and updates in their emails and coaching with me about how they went from no contact essentially to consistent communication with their specific person. So if you want to be part of that, if you want to have that success as well and you feel you need the support, then on screen and in the description is all my extra coaching info. But now let's jump into the video. Yes, your specific person is changing because obviously in your physical reality, we all have the negative old story regarding our manifestation. So the old story of whatever may have been or still are the circumstances regarding your specific person. So they are changing, but in quantum terms, what is really happening is you're just selecting this new version of them, the ideal version, the one that you visualize, daydream about, script about, affirm for. That is the version you are selecting, the version of them who chooses you and commits to you and loves you. You're just selecting this new version, saying, this is who I'm with, this is who's in my reality. And you're selecting and focusing on that version of reality where they do love you and they've chosen you. So remember, as a point of reassurance as well, so you feel better, you are not creating something brand new out of thin air. This is something that already exists. I'm going to talk more about this in the spiritual side of it as well. Just everything so you can really understand and maybe relate to or have your own perspective and, you know, something to gain from the point of you are not creating something brand new. This is something that is in existence. If you can imagine it, it can be real. Your subconscious mind decides what you're going to experience in your life because that's where your beliefs and assumptions are stored. That is where everything stems from. So all the beliefs and, you know, just everything you assume and think about the people in your life in general, circumstances, how lucky you are, just everything to do with the quality of your life, because that's what's relevant here, not just any belief about anything in the world, but about relationships, your reality, the quality and joy and success in your life. All of that is stored in the subconscious. So that is where your experiences are stemming and reflecting from. You need to be able to get to the root in your subconscious, change the negative into a positive, and that's what gets reflected. And it's something crazy like 90% of thoughts that are created from the subconscious and stem from your subconscious mind. So when you think a thought, chances are it is tied to an already existing belief in your subconscious mind. So that's why putting in this effort, being consistent so that your SP can gradually and consistently also reflect that back to you in initiating communication, improving communication, the actual romantic dating relationship that you want with them. All of that needs to be a primary focus where you, like I said, are selecting the version mentally by focusing on it of SP that you want, focusing on the version of the relationship that you want. When that starts to saturate into your subconscious mind, your SP is going to reflect that more and more. Basically reprogramming, restructuring whatever story has been stored in your subconscious from experiences. Whether you don't know your SP very well, you know, I know some people are manifesting a new relationship, or, you know, there's just an old negative story regarding romantic relationships or platonic relationships. And that is also what's impacting, you know, your manifestation. You'll know based on, you know, your own mental diet, whatever thoughts and beliefs have come up, but everything that has been stored in the subconscious mind regarding this, that's what's being reflected and also is what is shaping your actual reactions to your SP. So once you start reprogramming that story internally, and you don't do it obviously in the subconscious, you do it mentally and consciously, but it impacts the subconscious mind, that's when the 3D reality has to follow. It will literally have no choice but to conform, and that means your SP's behavior towards you, their words towards you, how they feel. It all gradually builds up and comes together. So a really great Neville Goddard quote that I always like to reference in these kind of videos is that the world is just you pushed out, essentially. So Neville always talks about everyone is you pushed out, and you're going to experience a reflection of where your focus is, what goes on mentally. That is the key principle that Neville kind of always teaches. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but he always says the world is you pushed out. So that means your SP is part of the world. So your specific person is one of the people that will reflect back to you what is going on internally, what you believe about your life, your relationships, what you've achieved, and your manifestation. 58% of you guys are still not subscribed, so make sure to subscribe and support my channel if you don't want to miss out on, that one video that maybe could change everything about how you manifest. So once your subconscious mind starts to accept that story more and more, which just takes repetition and consistency, you will see those changes within yourself, which also means, even if it's not visible, your SP is having an impact as well, a positive impact, because obviously the focus should be positive. You will see that in your own emotional reactivity that has been more balanced, your emotional regulation, which I think I spoke about recently in a couple of videos, if not a members video, but I delved into this topic a little bit about how your emotional regulation will become more balanced when the 3D isn't showing you everything you want to see. Because you have saturated your subconscious mind, you've started to change all of those thought patterns around. Everything is starting to get accepted internally, subconsciously for you, and that is a sign that you know as well it's impacting SP. So don't misinterpret that silence that you might be seeing, maybe the lack of your visible manifestation, as a failure. That can push you back. That can get the ball rolling backwards and push you back a couple steps, kind of like snakes and ladders. To give you a little metaphor, when you roll the dice onto a snake, you get pushed back multiple steps. You don't want to do that by taking what the 3D is showing you about your relationship as fact, as gospel truth. SP's behavior is always going to align with where your dominant focus and assumptions and identity is. I'm going to talk more about your identity, as I think I touched on that in the intro to this video. And I do want to explain what I mean, because it is interconnected and parallel to what your SP is doing and how, they're experiencing your relationship and the potential of your relationships. So when your dominant focus and your identity and just the repetition and focus that you essentially put in is aligned with having this relationship, the commitment, no matter what happened in the past, you're not trying to rationalize it based on the 3D, but you literally are mentally focusing on, we're together, I can see it, I can imagine it, this is what our relationship is like, this is the amazing commitment that I have. Their behavior will start to reflect that. So you will start to see things like more commitment, more pursuit of you, more consistency in anything, texting, communication, taking initiative, whatever the case is of wherever, whatever level of relationship you're manifesting on or ready for right now, that's what's going to start getting reflected. You're going to see those kind of, actions of being consistent and pursuing you. All of that is going to come together and be reflected. Be patient, let it come in, but that's what builds up more and more. So do expect that and do anticipate that. And as you start to see those results coming together, it's no longer going to feel like a surprise or just something completely out of the blue, like this miracle that's just come together. You won't really feel like you're kind of taken aback by what you're experiencing in their words. And maybe you think, oh my gosh, they've, finally asked me on a date or spoken about their feelings, initiated with me. It will all just feel like it's natural and meant to be, and just like a natural unfolding. That's why I always say inspired action is the way to go. If anything is going to happen, let it come in as an inspiration in the moment, because that's when it's going to be perfect, natural, and meant to be. And SP is going to feel that too. It's not going to be that, oh, I think I'm being manifested or anything like that. It's just going to feel very natural. They will have their own reasoning and inspiration and desire tied to that. You're not forcing, you're not manipulating. That's another point I wanted to highlight in this video. You're focusing on your own, what you want mentally within yourself. Like, this is my goal. This is me visualizing and experiencing it. And your SP is going to reflect that and be going through the same type of experience. They are also going to be feeling this natural inspiration or being drawn to you, and it's going to build up. Usually it's not like this sudden overnight explosion. If you take any specific phrase away from this video, let it be that SP reflects you. Your specific person is reflecting back where your focus goes, what you're assuming, what you are consistently holding as a dominant focus in your mind. Not 100%, not perfect, not 24/7, but the dominant focus about your relationship. So think of any past relationship you've had. Didn't they mirror your energy and, fulfill your assumptions about that relationship? If you think back, that is going to be an example of how a specific person reflects where you are mentally. And when you shift into that state of feeling and being chosen, they have no choice but to conform to that as well. Become the version of you who is chosen and prioritized and loved and just committed to, as I highlighted earlier as well. And you do that through consistently focusing on it internally, through your emotions, telling yourself you feel that way, convincing your own mind, tapping into that energy, feeling confident, letting yourself feel that, be that, and just mentally experience it. It's very empowering, and it's nothing to do with the other person. It's about how you feel, you taking the initiative and the control and deciding, I want this relationship, but I want to feel really good. I want to be really happy. That's the ultimate goal that you want. And you just focus on that. You just experience and live as if you're already there, kind of fake it till you make it. You just do it for yourself every day. And when your internal identity is at that point and stabilized to the point of feeling those types of things and feeling more confident and self-assured, your SP is feeling it. Even if you're not in contact right now, trust me, they are feeling that. There are infinite possibilities. Like I said, you're not creating something brand new. And the spiritual aspect for me that I always tie in, that gives me a lot of comfort, is knowing that through God, I have infinite possibility. I'm not limited in what I can achieve. And I'm not talking about ridiculous things, because I know sometimes people like to diminish manifesting and say, well, why aren't there aliens on Earth? Or I don't know, something really weird. But I have infinite possibility for all my goals, my success, the joy in life, just the most amazing life I can have, and nothing is being withheld from us. So knowing and seeing it from this perspective of kind of co-creation, of knowing that what I'm focusing on, what I want, is already provided, is something I can have, it just makes me feel so much more confident. If you come from that kind of mindset, it honestly does help you feel a lot better about knowing it's already done. You don't need to be in this state of lack, state of desperation. It's already there, ready for you. When you do experience any doubt, just revise it on the spot as best as you can. Tell yourself it's already done. This relationship is already mine. It's already here and perfect as it's supposed to be. So remember that if you're seeing the opposite in your 3D, that is the old story. It's just a delayed version of past circumstances that do not matter anymore. So remind yourself of that if you're having doubt along your SP manifestation journey. And I would love to have you guys here as a subscriber, as a member, or just turning on the notification bell, maybe hyping the video. I'd love your support, and I will see you guys next time.